Now our house is built, but before we can get up there, there's a few more things we need to install. In this video, we're going to put in our deck boards and also build and install our railings. The decking is really pretty easy. Essentially, we're just cutting these boards to the length that we need, a little bit of overhang on each side, and then just screwing them into the joists. There was one more railing post that I was waiting to install that I'm going to have to put in now. The reason I wanted to make sure that it was going to line up exactly with one of the deck boards, so I didn't want to install it until we had gotten to this point with the decking. And now this will line up perfect on the board, so I'll only have to cut a notch in one deck board instead of two. When I got to the part of the decking where I was going to be coming up against these next set of railing posts, I realized two things. One, I need less than a width of a full board, and also I wasn't quite square here. So my solution was to take one board, cut a notch for the railing over here, and then on this side, I'm going to rip this decking board in half so that it fits on this side of those two railing posts. Like all my other cuts like this, I'm going to do the bulk of the cutting with my circular saw because it's fast and straight. And I'm going to come in and just finish the corners with the electric jigsaw. So now this board's going to cover what I needed to cover and still set me up nicely to continue my deck on the zipline platform. You can see I ended up having two pieces here. That was due to a measurement error. Anytime you rip a deck board in half, you're going to be taking off one of the ends that has that nice beveled side. And so I want to make sure nobody catches their toe on that flat side, and so I just took the belt sander to it to kind of round off the edge. Now I can continue putting my deck boards on with the next piece that's going to require two cutouts for these two posts. To make these cutouts, once you have your first two inlines cut with the circular saw, I take the jigsaw and I make kind of a curved path from one corner to the other corner. So that cuts out this kind of quarter moon, and then come back in and cut out this remaining corner. For this board, I'm going to repeat that on the other side, and then this one will be good to install. Here's that spot just to the left of the one post. It looks a little Tetris-y. It's the only place on the deck where three deck boards come together, but it works.
Next one.
From here we just had to put on a few more boards to the end of the platform. Don't forget to make sure you're spacing your boards evenly by using something like a scrap piece of little wood or a screw in our case. At the very end of the deck we were one board short, so we had to use some scraps to cover the last space. Just remember, if you're not going to use a full board to cover, the place where the two scraps meet up needs to be on top of a joist. If your kids are looking for jobs that they can help with, screwing in deck boards is a great one for kids. It's pretty easy, it doesn't involve anything too dangerous, and if your kids have a hard time starting the screws, you can start a row for them and then they can just come behind you and screw them in the rest of the way. This is the complete deck flooring on the main deck of the treehouse, but we still have to do the backside, these two little balconies. So we're quickly just going to measure and cut our first board, which is going to have 2 notches for our posts. After we got that first board in, we just cut the remaining 3 deck boards and installed those, and then repeated that process on the other balcony. With all the decking installed, we can start working on building our railings, which are going to be the posts, which are already installed, the supports, which are 2x4s, the balusters, which are basically the bars that run between the 2 supports, and then a banister on top. To install the support pieces, we cut some pieces of 2x4 to length and then install them using 2 screws, one from the top and one from the side. Now inside the building, we started off attaching these supports to the house by putting a piece of 2x4 blocking on the inside and then screwing the screws into that. After we installed one though, it occurred to me that it was easier to just screw in one structural screw from the inside of the house into the end of the support, and that was just as sturdy. To install these support pieces, I like to pre-drill my holes since you're working pretty close to the end of the 2x4, just to have a little insurance policy that you're not going to split your board. And then I screw the first one in almost the full way, but not all the way because I don't want it to push the 2x4 out of alignment and out of level. So I get it in most of the way, and then I install the second screw. And then once the second screw is installed, then I come back and torque down that first one. And as far as attachment methods to the house, if there were forces that were pulling the railing away from the house, I would probably want something more significant than one structural screw. But since the force is pushing to the side, that structural screw will be adequate. And then up on the post, I continue to do the 2 deck screws. This section was a little bit more challenging because of this tree being in the way. When I had drawn the original plans, I had assumed that the tree was the same size and straight the entire way up, which of course is not the case. The tree has a Y in it right about where I'm working, and the one Y is directly in the path of where I need to install this support. The bottom support I was able to squeeze in by putting it on just a very slight angle, bringing the one side to the front of the post instead of the back, and that squeezed the bottom in without having to do 2 pieces. But the top, there was no way I was going to get one piece across, so I had to do half and half. Because of the structure of the bark on this tree, rather than cut the board at an angle, it made a little bit more sense on this side to cut the board straight and then use just a little shim I had cut out of a piece of scrap wood to put in there to get a little bit more tight of a fit. And then they say that it's better to use fewer fasteners but larger ones when you're going into a tree, so I'm using one 3.5-inch structural screw at an angle from the back to go through this support and then into the tree. On the other side, it's a much smaller piece, and if this piece were to give way, you would just be falling onto the tree instead of onto the ground, and so I'm just going to go with one deck screw into the tree on this side. With all the supports on, we can move on to installing our 2x2 balusters. We had to bring a lot of these things back to the back, so I was glad to have some help for this. We needed our balusters to be about 34 inches, but they came as 42 stock, and so we needed to cut them down a little bit. And rather than measure and cut every single one individually, we clamped a block onto the miter saw so then we could just line a bunch up and cut them much more quickly. I like to draw a line to screw into so that my screws are the same height on all my balusters. This is completely optional, it just is a nice aesthetic. I also like to preload the screws onto my balusters, especially if you're installing these yourself. This makes the job a lot easier if the screw is already started when you pick it up. Standard code is usually to not have more than a 4-inch gap between any baluster, and so I'm going to use some pieces of scrap 2x4 so that they are about 3.5 inches apart. Just continue going down the line, spacing each baluster the same distance from the one prior, and lining the top up with the top support. Every so often it's a good idea to make sure that you're still level and that you haven't kind of gone askew as you've been going down the line, and then resume. Despite the challenges that this section gave me, it ended up being one of my favorite parts of the treehouse just because it looks like the tree is growing into the treehouse here. Just remember as you're installing your balusters to line the tops up with the top of the top support. And if they're all the same length, your bottoms will end up in the same position. And here's the 360-degree view with all the supports and balusters installed. The last thing to do to finish off our railings will be to install the top rail or banister. Anytime you have two pieces of the banister coming together in a corner, you want to miter the ends at 45 degrees to create a nice corner seam. And always remember when you're making these miter cuts to measure twice and cut once, just in case you made a mistake. And unless all your railing supports are perfect, which is unlikely, you're going to have a little wiggle with your banisters. So you want to screw your screws in a way that takes advantage of that wiggle and kind of secures it so that the ends meet up perfectly. To keep that joint tight, I also like to screw one deck screw in from the side of the board at a little bit of an angle so that it really kind of pulls those boards together. And if you were careful and accurate with your cuts and your leveling, you should have a nice tight seam between the two boards at this angle. Not all of ours were perfect. We had a few gaps, but overall pretty good and definitely functional. In the couple instances where we had a banister piece not butting up against something else, I wanted to just take the corners off to give it a little bit of a decorative look, and then also so you don't catch yourself on the corner as you're walking through the entryways. That's it for decking and railings. In the next video we'll show you how to build those gates you just saw, as well as a ladder to climb up into this thing.